guys, I'm here to do another review. This is a top 10 Tuesday. I got this theme from the Broke and the Bookish blog. The theme this week is top 10 hidden gems in a genre of your choice. Since I have been reading nothing but contemporary this summer, I decided to do a contemporary themed one. And if you ever want like another one, just comment below with like a genre of books and I'll happily do it because I do read a lot of like genres and I have read a lot of stuff. I just figured that because I have been reading a lot of contemporaries, I would toss them. And they have not been like very popular fantasy contemporary books, so I figured you guys would like to hear about them. Most of these are from this year, but there are some from last year that I will tell you about too. I'm going to do my physical books first, and then I will do the books that I have pictures of. So the first book I want to talk about is My Unscripted Life by Lauren Morrill. This came out last October. And I know that I read a few things by Lauren Morrill. I read the Beans Bloom Jacobs, which I really enjoyed, but this book follows a character named Dee. And she really wants to go to art school, but she's having a problem beefing up her portfolio, so she decides that she is going to work on a movie set. And she winds up not only working as like a set guy or a prop girl, but she also winds up developing a relationship with the lead guy. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I have a deep love for Girl Next Door meets Hollywood famous type, because I think that those books are so fun and they're like the perfect beach read, and I really enjoy this. It takes place in a Georgia summer, and it was so much fun, and I really loved Milo. I thought that he had a really fun dynamic in the story, and I just loved their relationship. But yeah, this was super cute, and I read this, I think in November I read this, but I really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to read more by Lauren Morrill. I have a couple of books of hers in my shed that I just haven't got to yet. But if you have not checked out Unscripted Life, I highly recommend it. The next book I want to talk about, I actually picked up at Book Off in the city on like a Tuesday, and I read it on a Wednesday. This book is called Galgorithm, but it actually has been retitled, and it's You Plus Me Equals Us. But it's such a fun story, and it's like one of the only contemporaries I ever read that really just focused on a male protagonist. And it basically follows this guy named Shane Chambliss, who he believes he has concocted or has a theory about how to get nerdy guys to like, into girls and have a two-way street relationship. So he spends the time trying to put all these guys with girls and giving them tips and tricks to boof up their confidence, and then he ultimately has his own like romantic path in the story. But I loved all the side stories, and I loved just him as a character. I thought that he was so fun, and I was really impressed by it. It took me like 2 days to read this book, but I thought that the unexpected romance in the story really made me smile, and I was really happy with it. And it was such a fun story. I think, again, I read this book in like 2 days, but it was super cute. So if you're looking for a story that like I don't think I've ever read, it's kind of like Cyrano de Bergerac a little bit, kind of like that. Like, he's kind of just like this little matchmaker, but I really loved all the side stories, and I just loved him as a lead, so it was really fun. And yeah, again, you could actually get it for 99 cents on your Kindle, if you're interested. And I'm definitely gonna loan this to my friend, and I'm probably going to pick it up on my Kindle as well. The next book I want to talk about is an Owl Crate book. I think this is like the second book I ever got from Owl Crate, and it's The Night We Says Yep by Lauren Gibaldi. And this was the theme of that box was friendship, and it's about these two guys, Matt and Ella. And before Matt had to leave town quite unexpectedly, and Matt and Ella were dating. But before he left, they had a night that they called the night that they said yes, and it was a four kids had this night where whatever happened, they just said yes to it. And a year later, when Matt returns to town, they try to replicate the night that they said yes to figure out what really happened to them. And it was just such a fun novel. I actually inadvertently read this book from the library, so I still have my copy because I really want to read my actual copy, and we have a cute bookmark with it as well. But it was just so, and it's even signed by the author, which is why I love Owl Crate. But overall, it was really a fun friendship novel, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. Came out like last summer, but oh my god, it was just really fun. If you have not read this book, be sure you check this one out. There's one on my shelves like it. It's called The Probability of Lightning Strike. which is another one that has like a similar cover to it. But again, I really, really like this book, and if you are thinking about reading more friendship novels, this was definitely a book I would recommend, and it also has a lot more of the romance than what I'll talk about later in this video. The next book I want to talk about is a Jennifer E. Smith novel, and it's This Is What Happy Looks Like. This was my favorite book I read last summer. Like, that's high praise. I really enjoyed this book. It follows Graham and Ellie, and they meet online. Graham accidentally sends Ellie an email hoping that he thinks he's sending an email to a friend to walk his pet pig Wilbur, which you put a pet pig in your novel, I am all yours. And that's just happened. I love this novel so much. And it turns out that Graham is a internet movie star. And he inadvertently switches the filming to Ellie's town so he can meet her. And you know, it's a really interesting novel. There was a lot of like, you know, on set Hollywood life, but then there was also a lot of like self discovery for both characters, and I just really, really loved it. I loved the presence of the emails in it, and I just love that as like an element. But I loved the fact that maybe Ellie didn't want to be famous, and maybe that's why all this stuff was happening. So I really, really like their relationship. I love that we got both sides of them. We got like Ellie's point of view and we got Graham's point of view. And it was just so, so much fun. And I was really, really happy with it. I had read everything by Jennifer E. Smith except for like 2 or 3 other novels, but this is definitely my favorite so far. If you have not checked this out, I highly recommend it. It is a perfect beach read. Talk about is one of the books that I got from Entangled Teen for review, and it's called The Imperfectly Perfect Match. I think, in that series, and I haven't had a chance to read the first 2, but I really do want to. It follows these 2 characters who are opposites. The girl is chaotic and crazy and is kind of artsy and just like a very, very free spirited person. And the male, who I cannot remember the names at the moment, is very, very straight laced, a very, very serious person, and he's a baseball player and he really wants to go to the majors. And when their lives unexpectedly connect, they have to do some growing pains to realize what a relationship with the other person would be like. But it really was a fun romance. I loved the main characters so much in this story. It was heartfelt. It was emotional. I think I cried like twice, one for happiness and one for sadness. I loved how the author really took real life elements and incorporated into the character's life. I thought that was so realistic. It had military elements. It had, you know, that stuff that had caring for family and friends. It had self discovery and finding your place in the world. And I just was really, really like this novel. It was such a fun read, and it had a really, really fun summer vibe as well. And I just love the elements of like best friends and how that was crafted into the novel. And I really do want to read the other stories, so maybe I will try to do that next summer. The next one I want to talk about is Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Gilbert. That I got from Book Off that I got on like a Monday and I read on a Thursday. Like, I just was really, really wanted to read it, and it was so short. Follows these 2 characters who this book follows their whole like friendship from freshman year to senior year, and it's having them have a conversation about their relationship, and then you have a chapter, and then they explain the chapter to you in the present, and it was just such a fun dynamic. And I think I said this in my video because I did a video review about this. I connected with this story so strongly because I had a relationship like this in high school, had a totally different ending, but I really was like, oh, I can that would totally happen. Like, that could definitely happen in if your best friend's a guy. And I was just like, that is so accurate, which is really, really fun. And it was just smiling. I just made the book so, so fun to read, and I really liked both main characters, and it was just such a cute story. I have a few books by Elizabeth Gilbert on my shelf, and I will be meeting her in Boston next month. So I'm really excited about that, but I definitely want to read more books by Elizabeth Gilbert because I heard she's a super, super, very, very sarcastic author, and you could totally tell that through the characters I talk about. Is another Entangled Teen book. I've been reading a lot of Entangled Teen books this summer, and that's Falling for Forever by Melissa. That series, this book follows Jenna, whose whole goal in life is to go to LA and try to make it as a singer. But her father gives her one stipulation: if he can get her into this performing arts high school in I think it's Kentucky or New Orleans. I can't remember which one it was. Then she has to go and she has to spend her senior year in school. And her father winds up succeeding and she has to go to school. And in the school there's a big talent competition mid-year that Jenna does want to compete in, but she has to go up against Miles, who she unexpectedly has a connection with in the past. Because she was on a round of like their version of American's Got Idol, and she got like seventh place or something, and they have an unexpected connection. And I really love this book. Will admit at the start of this novel, I was not that impressed with Jenna, but by the end, I really liked her. Miles is the perfect book boyfriend, and the setting was spectacular. I love the music elements. I loved all the characters that we met, and I really hope that the next book we follow more about these characters in Jenna's world because they were just so much fun. Small shout out, I really did like the first book in the series, which was The Summer Before Forever, I think it's called, and that follows Chloe, Jenna's best friend, and Landon. And I really love that book as well. I did a review about that, and that had a really interesting disability represented that I've never seen represented before. Go check out my video review if you want more information about that. But that was another book that I really enjoyed, and it's definitely considered under the gem contemporary novel. And then the next book I'm going to talk about is a contemporary, but it also has some mystery elements, and that's Don't Look Back by Jennifer. You guys watch my other couple of videos, especially my TBR tag, you know that I often very quickly buy books on my Kindle and don't read them very, very fast. But I got this book like 2 years ago on my Kindle and immediately read it because it was Halloween and I was really in the mood for a creepy novel. Follows this girl, I think her name's Sam, and she winds up going missing with her best friend, but she winds up is found on the side of the road walking bruised and battered, and she doesn't remember what happened to her. She can't remember anything about herself, so she has no memory. And it starts this mystery about what happened to her, but also what type of person does she want to be, because the person she was not super nice. And it was a really, really good mystery, and I didn't predict the end, but I also love the self-discovery stuff that Jenna went through, and I really liked it. I was like, huh, it was so well done. So I really hope Jennifer Armentrout writes more mysteries because she was really good at it. I still have to read all her sci-fi stuff, but I have read most of her contemporary stuff. Other than the just pure contemporary, just finished the If There's No Tomorrow, which I really, really liked. That's coming out in September. If you have not checked that book out or it's not on your TBR, definitely check out my review and definitely add it to your TBR. But I really love this book. It was the perfect creepy mystery read, and I really, really enjoyed it and highly recommend that you check it out as well. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Summer After You and Me. Takes place in the aftermath and in the present moments of Hurricane Sandy, and I'm from Long Island and I live on Long Island, and that's something that affected us pretty dramatically for over like 2.5 months. It was probably the worst storm I've seen, and I'm just turned 30. But this book follows again a dual timeline where these two characters meet during Hurricane Sandy, and then the aftermath of when they re-meet the next, in the fall or the next summer. I really liked this book. I thought it was so well done, and it just really captured the moments of Hurricane Sandy, I thought, really, really well. And I love the story, and I have heard no one talk about this book. I know she has a lot of other books out as well, but I really liked it, and it was a perfect, like, rebuilding story, like, a hopeful story, but it also did deal with, like, a tragedy, but also the falling in love in the present, which I really liked, and it was just such a fun novel and such a fun read. And yeah, if you did live through Hurricane Sandy, it might be nice to read about it in book form. But I really did like it, and it was a really, really cute summer read as well. The last book I'm going to talk about is The Unlikeliest by Carrie Fisher. Theo talking about this book. I really liked it. It was the perfect friendship summer read. It's about all these characters who are basically considered hometown heroes, and they have this lunch honoring them, and they wind up starting a summer adventure, series of adventures that they think is hopefully going to help the community. And it was just such a fun friendship novel, a little bit less romance, but definitely focused more on the friendship elements, and it was just so adorable. So please, I'm begging you guys, go check out these novels. They were so much fun to read this summer, and if you want to check them out next summer, or even when it's really, really cold that we can't see straight and want some summer lovin', these are the books for you. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later.